let's look at the Raven SEO toolset. Very similar to LinkDex, it enables you to manage many aspects of your website, as well as your keywords, your rankings, and also give you some insights and recommendations for improving your website. The dashboard gives you an overview of just what's going on and how things are moving along in your website. But what I like using is the Research tab. We move into the Research tab and we can go into Keywords, where you can add keywords to your project. Of course, you can save reports for your own site as well as competitor sites that you're looking at as well. So in my project, I can see the keywords that I've got now, and I can also add more keywords to that as I need to. I like going into the Research Analyzer because the analyzer lets me know how my website is doing, and it gives me an overall health report, so to speak. And so if I go into the analyzer, it lets me know how many pages are being indexed, what types of links that I have, and also some domain management tools that will let me know when my domain expires. A lot of people tend to forget about managing things like that while they are working on their websites. Let's go up to the Links tab. And in the Link tab, what I'm interested in is the backlinks, because that lets me know who's linking to me. And from that, I can gain some valuable information, because if I see that certain sites are linking to me often, then I should contact them and build a relationship. The same as if I add a competitor in here, I can look and see who's linking to my competitor frequently. And if it's a high-quality site, then I know that I should start building a relationship there as well. So I can look at all of the links that are coming into my site, and I can go page by page to see which pages are developing links and which pages might just be stagnating and not developing any new links. But I can also see the pages that are more popular than others. Now, one of my favorite tabs to go to is the Insights tab. I love going to the Insights on the content and even more on the keywords. But let's take a quick look at the content, because you can look specifically at each page of your website. I can see here that this page has generated about 1,100 visits, so I'm going to click on that and get some more insights about that specific page. It'll give me a quick overview as to how many page views and how many people have seen the site, the bounce rate, the average time on the site. I can go up to the tabs and I can look specifically at engagement statistics to let me know how much time people are staying there and look at the trend. I can look at referrer information, which lets me know what websites are referring people to that page. Even more, I can look specifically at which keywords are sending visitors to that page as well. So I can see that I'm getting a variety of keywords that are sending traffic to that page and what percentage of traffic is being sent by which keyword. I can also look specifically to see which engine. Google, Yahoo, Bing, the typical culprits are the ones sending visitors to that page. Now let's look in the Insights, the keyword opportunities. I love this report because what this does is it ascribes value to my efforts. When I look at my keywords here, I can see for this term, I'm getting about 191 visits. This is about 2% of my traffic, and I've got a bounce rate of about 58%. Now, by keywords, I can go up to the drop-down here, and because I've integrated Raven SEO Toolset with my Google Analytics, I can now look at my keywords according to the goals that I have set up in my analytics. So for my keywords that generate comments on the blog, I can look and see which keywords build goal sets, which keywords are sending more people to the goal than other keywords. So I can see for Old Beetle, I've gotten 72 visits, and 2 people out of the 72 have left a comment. I can look at people that are interested in Beetles for sale and looking at the classified section, and so I can get a sense for which keywords are sending people to that goal. And then my place classified ad, which is my big goal set, that's what I want to know because that immediately makes me money, and I can look and see which keywords are sending people to that specific goal. Now, one of the things you're going to see in keyword referral data is this not provided. That means that Google is not providing the keyword data that's necessary to know which keywords are there. This has been an obstacle for many webmasters because Google promised it wouldn't be that much data. But unfortunately, when we're looking at goals, and the majority of our goals were accomplished by people who we don't know how they found the site, that presents a difficulty. We hope in the future Google will open that back up so that we can see those keywords, but until now, that's what we have to deal with. That's been just a short view of the Raven SEO toolset and the many things that it can do to enable you to manage your site more effectively. Webmaster Tools have become a vital part of website management. The search engines are making it more accessible to find out crawl rates, success, or problems that are happening with our websites. And so I recommend to take full advantage of the Webmaster Tools provided by both Google and Bing. We're going to look at Google's Webmaster Tools, and the first thing you'll see in the dashboard is a crawl error status. That's the vital thing that you need to see because it will alert you that if there are problems with the search engines. We're going to look at a couple of configuration options. The first is settings. Settings is where you determine how you want your URL to be displayed. Now, I'll usually try and manage this through a redirect rather than simply doing it on Google, because through a redirect, I do it for every search engine, not just for Google. And by this, I mean redirect the non-www version of the domain to the www version of the domain. I will do that through a 301 redirect, saying that if anyone types in the domain without the W's, they get sent to that, and that will include search engines. If you only rely on Google to redirect that, it won't work for other search engines. So this is just specifically for Google. There's a crawl rate, and the default is to let Google optimize the crawl rate for your site, or you can limit the maximum crawl rate. If you notice that Google is coming to your site too often and is putting too much of a strain on your server by delivering all of those pages, you can limit that. Don't mess around with the setting too much, and it's probably best just to let the recommended default setting stay. Now, I talked a little bit about redirects. And that's something to keep in mind, especially if you change your domain, or you change the location of your home page, or any of the pages on your site. This is where you can tell Google your new domain. So use the redirect, as Google has given here in the instructions, that you can redirect your content using a 301 redirect. And being very helpful, you'll notice that's a link. It'll take you to a page which explains redirects more in detail and how to set them up. So not just Google understands that you've changed your address or your domain, but every search engine and browser will be able to find that change of address and follow that. The next thing that I'm interested in is the health of the domain. Here's where we can go in and see if there are any crawl errors. Google does a good job of letting you know if there are some, and also giving you a nice pat on the back in case you have not had any crawl errors. We can also look at crawl stats, and you can see how many pages per day that Google is downloading from your website, and then also how much information is being downloaded from your server. So if you see that your server is being hit too hard by Google's crawlers, you can scale that down if you need to. I also like to look at the index status, looking at the amount of pages that have been in Google's database from my website. I can see that I have done some domain management, had a little bit of pages that I didn't think were relevant, that may have been some duplicate content, and I took that down. Probably a little accident here, and so you want to be sure that that is something that you didn't cause, but chances are sometimes Google makes mistakes, and you'll notice that a couple days later, it was right back up where it usually is. The next tab is the traffic tab, and I always like going to the search queries, because this is where you get a little different information than your ranking program will provide. It will show you how many times your website has shown up in the search engine results page. So about 500,000 times in this time period, my website has shown up in the search results. And out of that, I got about 4,500 clicks on my result compared to impressions. We can also look at my keywords, the amount of times that keyword has been presented as a search engine result, the amount of clicks that were received, and the click-through rate, and the average position for that keyword. And so you can get a great sense from Google of how many times your keywords are showing up, how many times they're being clicked on, and the average position that they're appearing in Google. This is a great way to look alongside of your other ranking reports and your analytics to get a sense of how well you're doing and any improvement that needs to be done. That's just a quick overview of Google Webmaster Tools, but I challenge you to get in, set up your own domain, and just start getting involved in looking at the reports and troubleshooting your website. That's going to be the best way for you to learn. Now we're going to take a look at Bing's Webmaster Toolset. Bing gives an awful lot of availability to webmasters, and they also provide a lot of information as well. We're going to start at the dashboard, which gives a quick overview of the health of your website. Clicks from search, pages crawled, crawl errors, pages indexed. That's a good snapshot to look at, but really what I recommend is just to dive in, especially in the reports and data field. Starting with page traffic, we can get a really good sense of what's going on with our website by page. We can see for a specific page how many times that page was clicked on from search results, how many times it appeared in search results, and the click-through rate. Then the average search position or click position for that page and the average ranking. We can also view by page, when we click on view, how many keywords are sending visitors to that specific page. And we can see, again, click-through rates, search positions, and how much it has appeared in search for that page and the keywords sending traffic to that page. This is a great way to see how one page, even though it has a singular focus on a keyword, can be drawing multiple long-tail keywords to that page. We then go into search keywords. Now, instead of looking at it by page and the keywords that are sending visitors by page, we can go look at it by keywords. So we can see all of our keywords, clicks from search, search position, those things as well. And then we can do a view, and we can see how many pages that search word is sending visitors to. So the exact opposite view, but again, it's always good to look at this data from many different aspects. Now, one thing that Bing offers webmasters that you won't find in many other sets, such as Google Webmaster Tools, are the SEO reports. The SEO reports are a great feedback tool that lets you know if you're taking full advantage of the HTML best practices. So, for example, one of my reports here tells me that I have an H1 tag missing, and it's on the home page. It lets me know why the H1 tag is important, why the search engine depends on it, and how important it is, and what I should do about that. So this is why I really like the Bing Webmaster Tools, because it really helps you figure out which pages need attention and what you can do to increase your rankings. Also, what Bing provides you are inbound links. You have to scroll down to the bottom of the page to find these. And this will let you know how many links are coming into your site, and specifically, how many links are coming to a specific page. So I can look at one page on my website, I can look at how many sites are linking to that specific page, and I can see the anchor text that's being used in that link. I can export all of this data into one large spreadsheet so that I can see everything that's going on. Crawl information, again, is vitally important so that we can see and make sure the search engine is downloading our site properly. There's a lot of diagnostics and additional tools that can be used. For example, Bing will allow you to do keyword research so that you can find additional words that maybe you haven't thought of. You can also submit a website so that Bing could go look for links on that website. And again, this could be competitor websites that you could be using as well. Fetch as BingBot, that allows you to see what the search engine sees when they download a new page of information. You can also use the tools to do a markup validator, making sure that your HTML markup is done properly. Bing offers webmasters a significant amount of resources to troubleshoot their websites, but even more importantly, to improve their websites, to improve both their management of the website, the visitor's experience of the website, and the search engine perspective of the website as well. Make sure that you install Bing Webmaster Tools. It'll ask you to download a text file or include a meta tag. That way you can validate that you own the site and start using it. As a search engine optimization management tool, I really enjoy using the Firefox browser. Because of the nature of its development and open source community, a lot of people develop plugins that extend the functionality of the Firefox browser. Of course, some of these plugins are based for search engine optimizers. One that I always recommend people install into their Firefox browser, and you can also find these for many other browsers, but Firefox is the primary one. It's the Search Status plugin. After you install it onto the browser, you will find your toolset down at the bottom right-hand side of the browser. Now, just a quick look at some of the functions that it will provide. The first thing is it will give PageRank. Now, PageRank, depending upon who you talk to in the SEO community, some people think it is very important, others think it is a waste of time. My personal opinion is that I really don't pay much attention to PageRank. A few years ago, it was something to know about, but it really wasn't something you could control or develop. And so PageRank is simply Google's assessment of the importance of a web page. However, they've gone years without updating it, and as a result, I don't really pay too much attention to it. Alexa is a company that attempts to give a popularity rating to a website in comparison to other websites online. Now, Alexa, by any standard, isn't specific. You're not going to get an exhaustive rating or an exhaustive amount of information from Alexa. Really, it's good just for a comparison, but really beyond that, that's about all you're going to get out of it. What I really like about the Search Status extension is the toolset you get when you right-click or option-click, if you're using a Mac, on the Search Status extension logo. All of a sudden now, you have a multitude of tools available to you. You can start by looking at the backward links just to this page, beyond this page, the backward links of the entire domain, and beyond the domain. You can also see the search engines. How many pages do they have listed for this site? You can also ask it to highlight a specific keyword. So if I decide to highlight iPod for this article, all of the words are now highlighted. So that certainly helps if I'm looking to see how many times a word appears on a page. You can also look at keyword density. I want to see how many times iPod is being used in relation to other words on the page, and it'll let me know that it shows up in the title, in the body text 11 times, 1 time in an H1, H2, or an H3, 3 times in links, never in a bold, once in the meta description, and once in the meta keywords. So it gives me an overview of how many times a specific word is used in ideal optimization areas. It will also allow you to look at the who is, look at the page or the domain in archive.org, or also just look at the meta tags. This is a great function that allows you to very quickly, especially for a competitor site, get a sense of what words a competitor is optimizing for. You can get in and very quickly see the title, keywords, meta description of that page without going in and looking at the code. So this is just a quick overview of one of the substantial tools that I enjoy using just to troubleshoot my site, look at competitor sites, and get a fast view of the words that they are trying to use and a good comparison between my sites and the competitor sites that I'm looking at. Now, the Web Developer Toolbar is a great tool set to use, especially when breaking down a website in front of people and showing them what it looks like without all of the images, markup, and it allows you to show people what the website looks like to a search engine. The Web Developer Toolbar has a number of options available to you. The first thing you can do is click on the Disable option, and you can jump right in and start disabling things. Disable JavaScript, disable Java, disable redirects, disable all kinds of things that a search engine might not be able to see. You can disable cookies, you can delete cookie information, you can get in, disable all the style sheets, and as soon as you do that, you're going to see a major difference in the way the site looks, because now without the style sheet, you're seeing it how a search engine will see it. We can also take all the images, disable the images, and replace it with alt attributes. We can now make sure that we've got alt attributes for all of the images that we have on the site. And now you'll see that the site actually is very simple. By removing the style sheet, the page looks very simple because now we see the simple markup, we see the text, we see the alt images, and now we see it very similar to how a search engine sees it. A couple other things that we can do is we can get into the Information tab and we can start again looking at how the search engines look at the information. We can view the document outline, the document size. We can look at JavaScript, link information. Going to the Miscellaneous tab, we can linearize the page. What that does is it linearizes all of the content on the page so that it will be seen in the order that a search engine goes from top to bottom and looking at the code. And we can get a great sense of what a site looks like without all of the trappings of the images, the style sheet, the ads, and we can really see it as the search engines see it. And that will help you show someone what you're talking about when you're trying to explain what a search engine sees as opposed to what a human sees. Download the toolbar, install it in your browser, and start playing around with different websites. See what happens when you disable the style sheets, when you disable images, only render alt attributes. At the same time, you can also get in and validate the code right from the web page. You can also edit the style sheet and see what things look like. The Web Developer Toolbar allows you to do far more than what I've demonstrated here. So it's a challenge to get in and see how you can use it in your business and in troubleshooting websites.